We're going to get going in about 2 minutes. This is doubling as our sound check, so hopefully our Zoom world is going well. The clock in my office doesn't have batteries, and so we both kept on looking over and being like, wow, we really do have a lot of time. 6 hours. Oh, all good. Yeah, one can hope, at least. Is this your mask, or was it just there? That's why I was confused. It's not. Would you like it to be your mask, or? Okay. More or less. Good job, let's go, Papa. I love your shoes.
Didn't want to.
Yeah.
Computer and us.
Yeah, let's do it.
Great.
Yamba-ya-ho, Yamba Welcome to all of us dancing and slogging through this first frost, which came as a huge surprise to some of us. Through this marathon of these holidays, through the back to school time and the back to pumpkin spice time. Is there anyone here on Zoom or in the building who's here at Shir Tikva for the very, very first time? Welcome. Are you a Twin Cities person or visiting the area? Oh, amazing. Welcome. Welcome to you. Welcome to anyone who is here for the first time on Zoom. Is there anyone in our physical space who's here for the first time since the beginning of the pandemic? Oh, welcome back. We ask that every week, and there's usually one or two folks, which is...
There has never been a week since April that there hasn't been someone returning, which is pretty incredible. Yeah.
Welcome to each of us walking on the paths that have brought us together today to the Shabbos in the middle of Sukkot. There's this tradition that on Shabbat Chol HaMoed, on the Shabbat that falls in the middle of Sukkot, we don't do most of this service. We don't do most of Kabbalat Shabbat. Anyone have any guesses what the reason for that is? Why we wouldn't sing most of the melodies of tonight when it falls in the middle of Sukkot? Beautiful. So we can spend more time in the sukkah. Any other ideas? There's, similar line of reasoning, more food than normal, so we have to hurry. Any other thoughts? Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, that's more or less where the traditional answer goes. Like, we are already in this elevated state of celebration. Ooh.
We have Riv in the chat who said, we already did Psalms for Hallel, so maybe it counts for Kabbalat Shabbat, which is also Psalms.
Yeah, kind of collaboratively, these answers are coming together. Like, we're already in too elevated of a spiritual happy place. Like, if we added too much Shabbat on top of that, we would potentially burst. That weirdly is like the halachic, the Jewish legal answer, which I was surprised to find. But for those of us who are actually could use a little bit of sameach, a little bit of joy tonight, the tradition actually gives us the opportunity to still do some of Kabbalat Shabbat, which I'm personally really grateful for. So in a minute, we'll go into this service that's about adding, a brief service that's about adding a little bit of extra spiritual oomph to those of us who might be slogging through. But before we get there, there is a really sweet and special thing that's happening tonight. Our teen group, Swifty, is Swifty the correct? Stifty.
The Swifty is. Let's come up with a reason to say Swifty too. I like that as well.
As it was coming out of my mouth, it was clear that this was wrong. Our teen group is gathering in person for the first time in some years. They'll be having a fire out back and just some sweet time together, which is, again, it's just this huge moment of people coming together that haven't come together in a long time. So much gratitude to Forrest for making that happen. And for the teens who came early for our service, thank you so much for being here. I'm wondering if you all would feel comfortable coming forward and helping us light Shabbat candles. I promise it's not too hard and rabbis don't bite.
Yeah, welcome.
The blessing can be found on page 2 of your Siddur. ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Continue together on page 12 or number 3 in your online Siddur. This is a psalm we don't typically sing here at Shir Tikva, though it is a psalm that is part of our weekly Kabbalat Shabbat. Maybe this is the beginning of a new tradition. But we'll sing the first verses of Psalm 29. And it's the tradition actually to sing this psalm standing. And so if you feel like standing, if that feels possible in your body, I'm going to invite you to do so. And we're just that much closer to dancing. On page, sorry, I said 12, but I meant 18. Did you think I meant 12? Yes, very reasonably you thought I meant 12. No, page 18. Thank you.
Feel free to stand in body or spirit. Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai kavod ba'oz.
Havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod yirim. Adonai al hamayim rabim.
Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar.
Kol Adonai shover arazim, vayshaver Adonai et arze halevanon, vayedem kemo egel Levanon v'Sirion, Levanon v'Sirion kemo renim. Yalla la 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 la, yalla ya ya la, yalla la la la, yalla ya ya la la, yalla ya la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la, yalla la la, yalla la la yo. You may be seated.
We'll continue with number 4 online or number ana b'koach on your purple sheets, which the rabbis are currently lacking, I think. Do you need one? Are you good? Good.
Ana b'choach b'choach, gedulat yemincha yemincha, tatir tzerura kabel rinatamcha, sagveinu tareinu nora. Ana b'choach b'choach, gedulat yemincha yemincha, tatir tzerura kabel rinatamcha, sagveinu tareinu nora. Ana b'choach, gedulat yemincha, tatir צרורה, תעתיק צרורה, קבל רינת עבדך, סגבנו תרנו נורא. איי 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 עליי, איי 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 עליי, איי 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 עליי, עליי איי 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 ליי ליי ליי, איי 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 עליי, איי 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 עליי, איי 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 oh. We'll welcome Shabbat with Lechado D, page 20, number 5. Ya la la ya 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 la ya ay la ya 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 la yo ay la la ya ay la yo ay la la ya ay la yo לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך ההפכה, רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. קומי לישי בידי תפארתך עמי על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי קורבה אל נפשי גאולה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי בא אורך קומי אורי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקומי מה תשתוכחי ומטה מבך יחסו אני עמי ונבנתה עיר עתילה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה והיו שיסה שוסי ורחקו כל מבלייך יסיס עלייך אל אלוהייך כמסס קלה קלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי היד איש ופרצי ונשמחה ונגילה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצוהלה תוך אמונה עם סגולה בואי כלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה
For those who arrived who are back here early, we'll take the next 4 minutes to greet each other in the space, to greet each other on breakout rooms on Zoom. If you're feeling like you want some quiet tonight and you don't want to interact with others, feel free to put your hand over your heart.
Ay, la la. sing this first verse of Psalm 92, this song for Shabbat, page 22, or really 22. That's right. Only one joke per service. Come on. Number 6 in our online Siddur. Mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, shir leyom HaShabbat, shir leyom HaShabbat, shir leyom HaShabbat, shir leyom HaShabbat, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, shir leyom HaShabbat, shir leyom HaShabbat, shir leyom HaShabbat, shir leyom HaShabbat, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, mizmor shir, shir leyom HaShabbat, shir leyom HaShabbat, shir leyom HaShabbat, shir leyom HaShabbat.
We rise and embody your spirit for Baruch Hu on page 28, number 7 online. Baruch Hu es Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. You can be seated. We turn to page 30, but before we say any words, let's take a second to take a breath in and out. We've come to the point in our service where we bless God who makes darkness, the darkening, frosty days of our winter season. Let's take a second to look out the windows of our physical space, the many windows of our virtual space, and observe the ways in which, I think for the first time, there's no little light shining through into our building. blessing that darkness on the bottom of page 30.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המריב הרבים.
We turn to page 32, taking a moment to call to mind love given or love received in this last week. One breath in and out. The bottom of the page.
כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, והם נגה יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
We turn to page 34. Rising is our tradition in body or spirit. Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You can be seated on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. We continue together on page 40, number 12. Ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la ya la la la, ah ya la 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 la, ah ya ya la ya la la, ah la ya la yo, ah ya la ya la ya la la, ah la ya la 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 la. Mi chamoch ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef elah, nora tehilot osef elah. Yalai, yalai, yalalai, ay, yalalai, yalalai, alai, alai, ay, yalalai, ay, yalalai, ay, yalalai, ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. As we turn to page 42, I invite us to really imagine the sukkah of peace, that we might make it that much more manifest. A sukkah of wholeness, of healing, of protection. A sukkah that resists racism. A sukkah that resists domination. A sukkah that holds us in its embrace. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat, shelomecha.
Page 42, 3 lines down.
Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat, shelomecha, ufros aleinu sukat, sukat, shelomecha.
We turn to page 44, 14 online for the Shamru. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. So on the precipice of our tefillah, of our time for personal prayer, we'll take this moment for gratitude. God willing, this is not the only moment for gratitude, but a time to share our gratitudes aloud. And so I'm going to invite us to just loft in 3 moments, just to loft what we're feeling grateful for. Don't worry about speaking over someone else. Let's fill this room up and fill up our chat with our gratitude. So today we're feeling grateful for
Light through the leaves.
And let's seal with a thank you. Thank you. I invite us to rise in body and spirit for our tefillah, which begins on page 46. We'll begin out loud together and then have time in quiet and come back together on page 62 with Oseh Shalom.
Sefatai tifta uviagi tehilatecha Adonai. Sefatai tifta uviagi tehilatecha.
lai, 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 lai. Ai, 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 ai. Ose shalom bimromav. Uyase shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru, imru, amen.
We'll take a moment to bring to mind folks in our life in need of healing. I'll look around the room, starting over here, going over here. Also, feel free to type your names into the chat. Feel free to speak out the names of anyone that you're praying for healing tonight. All the names we said are typed. All the names we don't know to say are typed. Yambara yo yo Yambara yo yo Yambara Re
Shabbat shalom, dear ones. Moedim l'simcha. So in our Torah cycle, we've come to the very last parsha of the very last book of Torah, Vizot HaBracha in Deuteronomy. And then this week, during Sukkot, we take a mighty detour through Leviticus and discussions about holiday observances, and then to Exodus, this Shabbat, where we recite the 13 attributes. It's like we're playing some sort of textual version of Chutes and Ladders. Having Shabbat on Sukkot sends us hurtling to different parts of Torah, to so many different stories, and it's like Torah is enacting the same thing that many of us might be feeling. After the intensity and the immersion of our high holidays, it's not yet time to enter the smooth flow of the Torah cycle. We have to find refuge, to change up the rhythm and learn together outside of the regular flow of time. So our Sukkot reading offers us the story of many holidays and offerings that are to be brought to the temple for each sacred time. We read about Pesach and Shavuot, about Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Sukkot, and what to do with the lambs and the bulls and the rams and the grain and the oil and the matzah. And nested in the narrative between our spring and our fall holidays comes a single verse of instruction that feels a little out of context, and it caught my attention this year. When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap all the way to the edges of your field or gather the gleanings of your harvest. You shall leave them for the poor and the stranger. So between the offerings of sheaves of wheat and bulls and rams, between the pleasing odors offered to God and the goat that comes as a sin offering, shout out to Hephalah, we get this specific instruction about how to harvest ethically. Why? While tempted to offer an answer like Torah is random, or because God wrote it that way, I turned instead to Midrash, and I found an answer from Rabbi Avardimos ben Rabbi Yossi, who taught in Sifra, in a collection of Midrashim on Leviticus, that this nested verse, this verse about leaving the corners of the field, comes to teach that the one who leaves the edges of their field to the poor gets the credit that would have been accounted to them as if the temple existed and they had brought sacrifices. And one who doesn't give it is like one who didn't bring, the temple was standing, but they didn't bring their sacrifice. And so in a world with no temple, the people who maintain a practice of offering their harvest generously to those who need are accorded the same credit as those who brought offerings to the temple. The temple, when it stood, was the center of metabolism for the people. It was the place people came when they had to atone, when they wanted to say thank you, when they wanted to connect with the divine. It was the place to mark the new year, the place to observe the holiday cycle. To not bring offerings to the temple was to place yourself outside of community, outside the flow of gratitude and yearning that must have motored the flow of the Israelites to the temple. And so here comes Rabbi Avardimos bar Yossi, who says that it's in the act of ethically sharing what we cultivate that we place ourselves back in the flow of our community, back in relationship with God, that we can find insight for us diaspora dwellers in the heart of temple-oriented teachings. Now, Avardimos is actually a Greek name, Eurydomos. So we have this rabbi, Avardimos, son of Yossi, which is a Hebrew name, a rabbi whose diasporic context is broadcast in his name, searching for meaning for his life and for the life of his community in our sacred text. It's such a relatable and relevant project. And he does something amazing. He comes to Torah and he interprets it in a way that sees it as speaking simultaneously to those who have access to temple Judaism by way of all of the instructions of how to properly observe the holidays through cultic sacrifice, and at the same time to be speaking to those who are living after the destruction of the temple in exile. Rabbi Avardimos finds a portal in the text, a single verse that he reads as addressing the Jewish diaspora directly. Rather than Torah offering insight about a system that was, he uncovers a verse that addresses our reality directly. Rabbi Avardamos is writing, grounded in a world where there is no option of offering at the temple, and he lets the Torah talk to him and to his community and to us. So standing at the entry point to this new year, I find Rabbi Avardamos' reminder that there are portals, that there are pathways through the everyday to new realms of meaning, moving and galvanizing. Standing in the post-temple world, Rabbi Avardamos looked to Torah, and he found Torah looking back at him. So how might we look for new insights nested between the expected understanding? How might we attend to the disruption and find the Torah we need? In many ways, I think building and inhabiting a sukkah in October in urban Minneapolis feels like one of those portals. Planting these temporary dwellings in the midst of our neighborhoods, singing outside in the extreme chill of the evening or morning, waving sweet-smelling wands in all 6 directions positions us as disruptors to the smoothness, to the expectedness of everyday life. So we disrupt the instinct to shore up, to solidify our reserves, and just be in the elements, connecting with joy, listening to the earth. Rabbi Avardamos reminds us that it's in being where we are and making conscious choices with what we hold onto and what we leave behind, how we nourish ourselves and how we stay accountable to those around us that serves as our offering. We can accept the ethical obligation offered us by our tradition, and we can renew it, expand it, and deepen it in our days. So on this Shabbat Sukkot, this last sweet chance to dwell in the open, let's stay attentive to the insight that's there, nested and ready, paying attention to us, ready to help us orient in the coming year. Shabbat Shalom. So it's my joy to invite us into a posture of receiving blessing and offering blessing if you're on Zoom. Thank you in advance. So if you came with people you feel like cuddling with, I'm going to invite you to do so. If you want to just give yourself a hug, I invite you to do so. We're going to use on our purple sheets. I'll conform. Number 3, if you want to sing along. המלאך הגואל אותי, המלאך הגואל אותי מכל רע, יברך את הנערים, ויקרב בהם שמי, ושם אבותיי, ושם אבותיי, אברהם ויצחק, וידגו לרוב, וידגו לרוב בקרב הארץ. ישימכם אלוהים כשרה, כרבקה, כרחל וכלאה, כאפרים וכמנשה. יברכך אדוני וישמרך. יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה. יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום. יללה, יללה. Ya la la, ya la la, ya la la, ya la la, ay ya la la la, ya la, ay ya la, ya la. May we all be in good health this year. May we find peace and calm in the chaos. May we all hear the Torah we need to hear. Take it all in, the snow on our faces, the faces smiling at us. May we learn from the Torah offering itself to us. May each step of the journey bring its own blessing. May we do that mitzvah of a little extra tzedakah in honor of each holiday. May the heaviness that many of us are carrying be lifted. May we appreciate the snow, at least some moisture. May we find our way back again and again to the flow of community. May we receive blessings for this coming year, filled with the joy of Sukkot and the love, always the love for self and for other, and for those who we don't know, but with whom we share common humanity. May we seek truth and honesty and connection. May we be brave enough to ask for and receive comfort from this sweet and caring community. May we keep our ears and eyes and hearts open. Ken yehi ratzon, yalalai, 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 We'll begin to conclude our service, page 284 or number 19, with Vahashevota. Vahashevota is 4 lines up from the bottom of the first paragraph, if you're looking for the words themselves. Vahashevota,
Vahashevota, el levavecha, el levavecha, ki Adonai, ki Adonai,
hu Elohim, Vahashevota,
Vahashevota,
el levavecha, ki havaya, hi Elohim, v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We come now to Kadisha Tom, to Mourner's Kaddish. And it is our tradition here to share stories of the people we're remembering. We invite you to keep your stories to like a sentence or two, which I recognize is exceptionally hard. But thank you for helping make space for everyone's stories, everyone who has stories to share. So I'll read our community list, and then if I have not read the name of the person or people you're thinking of, when I come to the end of the list, just raise your hand and I'll come over to you. And I've really appreciated Rabbi Joey's request. If I share a name that you would like to speak about, please gesture dramatically so I can find you. Thank you. So we're in Shloshim, we're in the first 30 days since the deaths of Edward Valalta, father of Lisa, and Rabbi Sheldon Switkin, father of Abby Riskin and grandfather of Ari, Nava, and Miriam. We're observing the yard sites of Carl Anschel, Ray's dad, Lillian Berger, Karen Desnick's mother, Kevin Kane, Emma Stout's uncle, Jerome Evans, Deborah Klein's stepfather, Dick Fitzgerald, Beverly Fitzgerald's husband, Carol Ann Hensley, Fiona's mom, Daniel Husiak, Larissa's father, Rudolph Candler, Jenny Kahn's grandfather, Dan Cowler, Peter's brother, Chuck Lang, Amy's father.
It's hard to believe it's been 9 years. My dad was a scientist, but really was a Renaissance man, and way back before it was commonplace, he was really an involved dad. and he loved to play, and I just have great memories of camping trips. But really, my favorite memory, and this is good enough to do 2 minutes, is my daughter was trying to teach him how to be a teenager and told him that he's supposed to wear his pants down here and walk around, but he didn't understand, so he pulled it all down so his butt was hanging out. She was really cracking up. It was very fun.
Irving Sonny Miller, Richard Cottle's uncle. Ann Nyman Jones, Diane Nyman Cohen's sister. Ruth Stecker, Rich Eisenberg's aunt. Ida Weinblatt, Gloria's mother-in-law. And Dr. Ray Weisberg, Mark Weisberg's father. Are there other people that we're remembering tonight? Yeah.
I don't remember the exact date of my grandfather's passing. He passed when I was 10. His name was Saturno Massi. He was a very Italian man. And he was a winemaker. He grew his own grapes. He was an inventor. And when I told my mother that I was dating someone who is a meat cutter, she was like, "Oh, did you know that your grandfather did that?" And I had no idea. So that was great. And I just remember him at this time of year because it's my favorite. And we used to go over to my grandparents' house and like carve pumpkins and do all sorts of fall things. And when I was growing up, we had a scarecrow at my parents' house that we put one of his flannels on after he passed away.
Thank you. It's the art site actually right now of Nance Mosier. Some of us here knew her, and the story I'd tell is that when she died, the Star and Trib did her obituary, and I'm not kidding, they put the letters like 3 inches tall and big bold that said lesbian. It was like the first time the Strib used the word lesbian. She would have loved that. But Rachel and I are also observing this year for my mom Frances, Rachel's Bubby, and Rachel's aunt Carol Jean, and my heartmate Carol Jean.
Remembering Leah Lynn Rosen was buried last Friday, and she died the Sunday in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, but beloved member of communities here in the Twin Cities and Albuquerque and Rosendale, New York, and Berkeley, and all over the world. And Madison, that's right. Potter, she was a potter and lived her whole life thinking and being Jewish.
We're remembering my great uncle, Avram Landy. It's his 30th yard site. And because we didn't really have grandparents because of the Holocaust, he was sort of like our father, mother, best friend, and sort of elder statesman of our family. And as I think about it, sitting here, he's really our shomer, our guardian, our protector. And he was also in the executive committee of the Communist Party in the 30s and stuff. So he's just a great mentor, and, learned a lot from him. And just to give you some idea of, he was kind of a brilliant writer, actually, and unlike the rest of us in the family, but he sort of used to make fun of me. And one of the things because he didn't really have patience, he didn't have a whole lot of patience in some ways, and he's like, he kind of like said of our whole generation, like, Joel, you and your peers are just simple-minded sucker puppets manipulated by mindless peers with uncontrollable drives.
It's good to end with a mic drop. you, Miriam. Yes.
I'm remembering Mimi Jennings, who died recently. She was an irreverent and outstanding poet.
For all those names and stories we've shared, for all of you who are sharing names and stories in the chat, for all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, I invite the community please to rise in body and spirit and recite Kadisha Tome on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shnei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chai echon u'vyom echon u'v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kariv yimru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Vitadar, vitale, vitalal, shmei de kutshav brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, V'imru, amen. You may be seated. It's my pleasure to invite Lily Benowitz to join us, Vice President of Shir Tikva. And I just want, Lily, I'm going to tell the story about the video on the website. Is that okay? Yeah. That there's a video on our website from 2013 that talks about like the mission, the vision of Shir Tikva, and it creates, it's very, very visionary. But in it, someone says, my vision of Shir Tikva in 2025. Now, even beyond, I think, I don't know what it was. Yeah. Far in the future.
I think it was 2025 because that felt like a long time.
Did it?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's so soon. 2025 is that all of these things will happen. Shir Tikva will have a satellite community in Cuba, no joke. And in that same breath, and Lily Benowitz will be the president of Shir Tikva. So you can watch the video, it's true, but we are so close, folks. One step at a time.
Yeah, when Rabbi Ariel told me that, I was like, oh man. I was a senior in high school, and I really love that Ben and Amy are presidents. That's where I'm at. Hi, everyone. I'm Lily. I use she and they pronouns. Thanks for being here tonight. At the end of the services, please return your prayer books to the usher table. I'll be there. And separate out the song sheet, the blue sheet, from the siddur and put them, the purple, blue. Please find all of our Shir Tikva programming updates in our weekly e-news and on our website. You can join us on Sunday for Simchat Torah, featuring a delicious meal cooked by David Raskis. And you can go to our website to register for the meal if you plan on attending. Our fall adult education schedule is open. We have a fantastic new offerings that span a variety of topics taught by instructors who are familiar and new, some in person, multimodal, Zoom. Please see the head of adult education, the head of the adult education page on the website to register. Thank you to those who made tonight possible: Gordon, the Macomb Minion, David Bailey, Julie Jacobs, Lori Sweet. These services are truly a labor of love. In the spirit of the Jewish tradition of giving at the high holidays, we invite donations to support Shir Tikva's vision, education programs, accessible services, and social justice work. We are sustained by our community's commitment to give at a level that's personally meaningful and generous for you at the new year. Please consider making a gift at any level that feels right for you. Is there also a food drive going on? There is also a Stifty food drive going on that you can drop off during Sukkot in the vestibule. Thank you all so much. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much for that. That's right. The final announcement. Let's go to Cuba. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's just take a moment. If you're on Zoom, beam love to each other. If you're here on 50th Street, just take a moment and gaze at each other with some love. It's so good to be together. It's so good to just take this time to connect. We'll end in song. No, we'll end with blessing Kiddush. I always forget that part. And let us not forget the chocolate chip challah. So here we go. Kiddush is found on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, barei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'charta, ve'otanu kidashta, im kol hamim. V'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu, brucha at shechina mekadeshet haShabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Go to town, people. It looks so beautiful. And I just want to say, we'll sing in a moment, but I just want to name that I think Simchat Torah has accidentally become like the best kept unintentional secret in town. Like we've been talking about the dinner, but not so much what's going to happen during this service. So just to let you know, and for folks on Zoom who are like really trying to figure it out in the chat, you're invited to come at 4 o'clock if you want to join in the Nigun singing Simcha band to have a 1-hour rehearsal before dinner. 4 o'clock if you want to help sing. 5 o'clock is dinner. At 5:45, we will begin our celebration, our first in-person at Shir Tikva, although we did do it at Powderhorn, which is amazing. Our first at Shir Tikva Simchat Torah, where we will dance, do hakafot, and we will, God willing, if there are enough people, unroll the entire Torah, and we will hear the end of Devarim, the end of Deuteronomy, and the beginning of Breshit, the beginning of Genesis, read. Hooray. Nat Ching Deutsch is one of our readers. Go Nat. So I hope, please tell your friends, we don't mean to be mysterious about this. So we hope to see you on Sunday. Oh my gosh, Ori's here too? Are you, well, there you are. Nat Ching Deutsch and Ori Wasserberg are our 2 readers of Torah. This is unbelievable. This never happens. Whoa. So yes, we will be beginning and ending Torah, God willing, together. Yes? Now we'll sing. Sunday. So embarrassing. Ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Oh, 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 la la la, ya la la la.
Ay, ay, ay,
Ay, ay, ay, ay, ay, ay, ay, ay, la, la, la. Oh, ay, 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 ay. Ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 la. Ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 la. Ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 la. Ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 la. Oh. Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos.
Yeshar Koach.
So fun.